So the whole purpose of this is training your body to be able to pay attention. And we're going to use movement to help facilitate your ability to pay attention without getting distracted. But before we get started, before we add any movement, just pay attention to your regular breathing. See if you can follow it from the inhale all the way to the exhale. And without changing anything with your breathing, now bring your attention to your rib cage. And notice what parts of your rib cage fill up with air as you breathe in. Your chest, your belly. If you were to draw with a marker the parts of your rib cage that expand, could you do that with your attention? Draw those areas. And now start exaggerating your breaths in through your nose. Breathe harder as you breathe in. And just notice how much easier it is to pay attention to how it feels in your nose and where you're feeling it in your rib cage. And take a break. And now you're going to practice the exhale. So everybody but JR, you're going to do the pursed lips, but still the same concept. So you're going to take a breath in through your nose, and you're going to fully exhale through your mouth, like you're fogging up a glass window. And everybody's muted, but if you weren't, I should be able to hear your exhale. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get that full breath out. You're getting every inch of air out of your body. And just notice what that feels like. What does it feel like to deflate your entire body? And then take a small break. So we're going to start with the first move. First move is on all fours. So knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders. So you'll notice when I drop my shoulders or my chest, I'm dropping evenly. So I'm not arching my back and I'm not bringing my head down. So on the exhale, you're dropping evenly through the shoulders. Exhale through your mouth and then inhale through your nose as you push your chest away from the ground. Spread the shoulder blades apart. And then back down. You don't have very much to move on the way down. So go very slow so you can get the full exhale through your mouth. And close your eyes and just pay attention to your hands. They're controlling you on the way down, and then they're pushing you on the way up. Each inhale, you reach a little more. You're making a conscious effort at not shrugging your shoulders towards your ears. And just notice how much movement you have access to. Now we're going into the rock back lat stretch. So what you'll do is you'll push your hips back towards your heels. On this one, this is where you might want a pillow between your legs and your heels if that pinches your hips or hurts your knees. Both elbows go down. We're going to start on the right side. So you're going to take your right hand and reach it across. So you're getting a stretch from your shoulder all the way down your hip, and then hang out there as you breathe in. Full breath out through your mouth. Breathing stays the same. As you breathe in, you're breathing into the right side of your body, and just pay attention to the areas that feel tight as you breathe in. What part of your body is being stretched out as you take a breath in? Is it by your hip, middle of your back, by your shoulder? Now take the right arm down towards your knee, and then reach the left arm across. As you breathe in, you're pushing all the air to the left side of your body. And bring all your attention to the areas that feel tight as you expand. And then you're going to go back to all fours. And see if you have access to even more motion now. So a little bit of tuck through your hips. You're going to exhale, drop evenly on both sides. Inhale, push away without shrugging. And drop really slow so you can last as long as your exhale. All the attention is on your hands. And they evenly push you up so your chest does not rotate. And continue to do that, but take your left hand, tap it on the right shoulder, and then you're doing the same thing. And don't let your ribs rotate to the side. So as if both arms are still doing all of the work. Your chest still drops evenly on both sides. Especially when you're pushing up towards the ceiling. It's as if both arms are still pushing through. And switch to the other side. And don't let your chest rotate. Drop evenly on the exhale. Perfect. And then back to the lat stretch. Start with the left arm down, reaching your right arm across. This time you're going to try to deflate the left side of your body. So as you exhale, you should feel the left side of your body compressing, tucking in, deflating. And then as you breathe in, it goes to the opposite side. You're pushing everything out of the left, and it's going to the right. Now take your right arm down toward your knee, reach your left arm across. And now you're going to deflate the right side of your body and then fill up the left. And take a break. Back to all fours. This time, you're just going to stay at the top. So set up on all fours. Get a nice reach through your shoulders. Without rotating your chest, take your left hand, tap it on the right shoulder, and hold it there for breaths in through the nose. As you push your right arm into the ground without rotating your chest at all. And just hold that top position so you won't drop. Each exhale, you push a little more. And then stay there on the inhale. Now don't let anything drop or move. Switch to the other side. And continue to breathe. You're always pushing your chest up towards the ceiling. Don't let it drop. And without dropping your chest, start alternating from side to side. Just go slow with nothing moving other than your arms. You can just breathe through your nose. You got a glass of water on your low back. Do not drop it. And rest. Back to the lat stretch. Left arm down, right arm across. And see if in one inhale, you can get everything to expand from your shoulder all the way down your hip. So as you breathe in, that entire right side of your body expands. See if you can drive air all the way down your hip while your shoulder also expands. Now take your right arm down towards your right knee, reach the left arm across. You're gonna do the same thing here. In one inhale, everything expands from your left shoulder all the way down your left hip by your low back. It all fills up with air. And take a break. So now you're gonna take that pillow and JR, you'll go on your side to do the exhaling. So you'll lay with your legs straight or with the pillow underneath your knees. The legs are relaxed on this one. So this is the exhaling, which we do every time. It's in through the nose, full breath out through your mouth. The goal with this is to get to the point where you're fully exhaled and you feel all this tension. But what you don't want to do is like actively brace your abs to get there. So it all is driven by driving all the air out. So it's in through the nose, full breath out through your mouth, hold for 5 seconds, and then relax as you breathe back in. And then repeat. So in through the nose, full breath out, and should get uncomfortable. And you're holding the air out for 5 seconds. And you should feel a lot of tension around your abs, and then let them go as you breathe in. And just completely let go as air goes back into your nose. Each exhale gets longer. And it should almost feel like you're squeezing the air out of you. And then take a break. Now you're going to put your feet on the ground. And JR, I would go 90-90, like on a chair instead of hook line. And since we won't be doing the breathing, you won't be exhaling. So you're going to put your feet on the ground and you're going to roll your hips and you're going to go into a glute bridge. What you don't want to do is pick your hips up completely. The reason why they get picked up is because you continue to roll, continue to roll, continue to roll. Think like one vertebrae at a time. Hold and then release. And the breathing, you can just breathe through your nose. Here, you're really focusing on what you're doing with your hips, which is a roll. Slowly peeling your hips off the ground and then slowly releasing them. And pay attention to the muscles that you feel working, your hamstrings, your glutes. Maybe your quads are being pulled a little bit.
One more time real quick on the instructions. I had to get a chair.
You'll just tuck slowly on the way up, kind of like in a 90-90 tilt, and then back down. So drag your feet down a tiny bit and then slowly come back down. And the same motion you're doing, you're about to do on all fours. So now flip over on your hands and elbows. An inverted cat-cow with just your hip moving. So you're going to push up with your chest by pushing your elbows into the ground. What you don't want to do, though, is drive your neck back. So let the shoulders do the work. You're going to exhale, back pockets get pulled up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, back pockets get pulled down. And that's all you're doing is you're alternating from back pockets being pulled down and then back pockets being pulled back up. Nothing else in your body should move. Your upper body shouldn't move, just the back pockets, just your hips. So inhale, tuck the tailbone, back pockets get pulled down. Exhale, untuck. And it's the same rolling motion with your hips. You might feel a little bit of glutes and a little bit of hamstrings as you pull the back pockets down towards your knees. And take a break. Now you're going back to the breathing with your legs straight. And this time, in your head, you're going to fully exhale. And when you're getting at the end of the exhale, you're going to say to yourself, holding on to my abs or my tension, muscle tension, and then on the inhale, letting it go. So with your mind, you're going from holding on to the tension to breathing in and letting it go. And you're just going to repeat back and forth. Make the exhale long and slow. And if you don't feel a lot of tension building up at the end of the exhale, exhale longer until it gets uncomfortable. And then feel the emptiness for just a few seconds before you relax and let go. And now bring your attention to where your breathing goes as you breathe in. It should be very superficial. Just feel right on the top of your chest as you let go and you breathe in. And take a break. Now you're going to go back to the glute bridge, feet on the ground. And you're going to hold the top position for a second before you let go. And then notice where your knees are. I want your knees in the middle, like they were holding a ball. So don't let them drive out. So you might feel some inner thighs as well. And slow peel off and on the ground. Hold the top position for a second and notice what muscles do you feel. And see if you can pay attention to the motion that you're doing with your hips, the muscles that you're feeling, and then also now add your feet. Think because you're pushing into your feet, that's how you're able to hold yourself up there. So your feet are controlling the position of your hips. And relax. You're going to go back to all fours on your elbows. And then really differentiate, only moving this and not your back. So only the pelvis moves. Inhale, tuck the tailbone between your legs, back pockets down. Exhale, back pockets come back up. And if you get distracted and start thinking of other things, just go back to your back pockets. They're either up or they're either down. And then one more breathing, laying on your back. But instead of letting go on the inhale, you're going to breathe underneath the tension. So hold on to the tension that you created because you exhaled fully and breathe underneath it. So your breath should feel way deeper, like in the middle of your body versus front of your chest. So full breath out, hold for 5 seconds and breathe underneath the tension that you created, and then continue to do the breathing sequence without relaxing. And it should feel like you're not getting enough air in, and that's normal. And take a break. Relax for a second. When done right, this is very challenging, and usually people are really happy to stop doing it. You're going to go and do it again one more time. In through the nose, full breath out through your mouth, full breath out. And then hold on to that tension as you breathe in. So it should feel like you're keeping your low back into the ground as you take a breath in. And you're breathing in the areas that are restricted and tight. And relax. Now you're going to go into your glute bridge, but you're going to add the breathing. So you're going to feet go on the ground. You're going to go about halfway up. So roll your hips halfway up, keep the tuck, really push down into your feet, and then do the same breathing sequence without coming down. So go about halfway up, find your feet. Your feet are holding your hips up there. So you have to push into them. And that's what lifting weights is finding your feet and pushing into the ground. And see if the breathing is any different. Do you notice different areas of your chest fill up because you're in a tucked position? And take a small break. You're going to go one more time. You're going to roll your hips. Your feet are doing all of the work for you. And then hold for breaths. And relax. Now you're going to go on all fours, and instead of untucking and tucking, you're just going to hold the position. So you want to find a nice position where you're not arching your back, but then you're not hunching over. So a really good way to set up is sag the mid back. So kind of let your body sag. From there, you push through your arms, slightly tuck your hips, and then you're probably good there. So once you're there, hold in through the nose, full breath out. Yes, everybody looks good. And just get all the air out. Hold for 5 seconds. The breathing stays the same. And relax. Now we're doing a squat to the sticking point, which I'm assuming it won't be very far down. So the way we set up, feet are going to be straight ahead, hip width apart. We're going to do the move that we just practiced, which is the back pockets get pulled down, and then I squat down by driving my knees forward. What I don't want is for you to start squatting back. So your back pockets get pulled down, and that's as far down as I can go before I start to move my chest forward and my hips go back. So find that sticking point where you got your feet, back pockets get pulled down, Knees go forward, hips go straight underneath you. Let's see. Tuck a little more, Matt. Back pockets down. Nice. Good. And then now push into your feet as you stand back up. Nice. And now back on your back. You're gonna reach through your arms this time. You should feel a lot of abs. Give me a little bit of a tuck through your feet, just a hair, not too much. And you're gonna reach your arms up and then it's slightly down. So I'm not straight up towards the ceiling. My hands are slightly pointing down, almost going parallel to my thighs. And then allow your chin to go back, relax your head and breathe. Full breath out as you're being pulled through the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Your shoulders are off the ground. Each exhale, you reach a little more. As you exhale, you should feel your low back sink into the ground. And relax. There you go, back to the squat. So on this one, work with what you have. So you want to find a spot that's challenging. You're able to keep your hips underneath you and it doesn't hurt. So pull the back pockets down, keep the heels on the ground, and then hold that position. And very similar to the glute bridge, think because you're pushing into your heels and feet, that's how you're able to hold yourself up there. Nice. Pull the back pockets down, Becca, a little more. And this is not easy. And now push into your feet as you stand all the way up. And then back to laying on your back with the reaching. A slightly downward angle. So your shoulders come off the ground. Each exhale, you reach a tiny bit more. Head stays relaxed. And relax. One more squat. The feet straight ahead, hip width apart. And start by pulling the back pockets down. That should automatically slightly bend your knees, but don't lose your heels. And then squat straight down and hold. Just pay attention to your position. And your feet. And now push into your feet as you come back up with your hips underneath you. Perfect. One more reaching. Give me a little bit of a tuck on this one. Push down into your feet, little bit of a roll, and now reach up towards the ceiling. And at the end of the exhale, you should feel your low back into the ground. Keep it there as you breathe in. And rest. And you're going to stay there. And you're going to end with what we started with, which is just paying attention to your regular breathing. So get comfortable, close your eyes, And just see how long you can pay attention to your regular breathing without getting distracted. And whenever you're ready, just start moving around. Nice job. Squats look good. Those are hard. They're really hard. How was that?
Good.
Shocked at how hard the squats were.
I love crushing people with those.
Damn. Hams are actually lit up a little bit. That's man.
Oh, with the squat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying, talking about. Just I hadn't ridden a bike, and I still haven't. It's sitting there in over a decade, and I got a real representation of, or a feeling of what clients feel. So I thought it was going to be easy, and my mom brings it over, and we fill up the tires, and she's like, "Lucy, get on it," and I'm thinking, I don't even know how to get on. Like, how do I balance the bike? Come on, Lucy, let's see if the tires. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll do it later. She's like, no, get on. I'm like, no, it's fine. And it just made me think of our clients. If I'm trying to teach them a squat and I'm asking them to tuck and they don't know how to tuck, they're like, I don't know what you're wanting me to do. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And I felt the same way with the bike. So just bringing it down to just working on the tucking and untucking, or just working on keeping the tension as you breathe in, because that's so hard for people to do. And it does get frustrating when they don't get it. So it gives them that opportunity to get competent with just like two things back and forth.
It takes a lot of patience, and I mean on both ends, and they have to be willing to find it, and we have to be patient enough to help them find it, because we kind of know, and then they don't, and how do you? What I took from that is, again, I think sometimes there's this tendency to jump forward several steps and you don't even realize it, and how, like, Mrs. Smith isn't even tucking correctly or
Mhm.
effectively, so we might want to go way back there and then bring it along.
Yeah.
So
I have a question about the breathing that we did with straight legs.
Mhm.
Tonight and last time we did that, I have a really, really hard time getting enough breath in that position. And I know tonight, then you said it, and I mean, then I laughed, but why is that so hard? Like, as soon as I bend my knees a little bit and put my feet on the ground, no problem.
Yeah, because when you're laying on your back with your legs straight, your pelvis is going to automatically like untuck. So
Right.
when you're exhaling, you're putting a lot of you're putting a lot of leverage with your abs to get your whole body to exhale. And
Yeah.
now you don't have your hamstrings to help with that. You
mhm.
have to rely on just your abs by fully exhaling. As soon as you tuck a little bit, then now your pelvis gets in that position, so your abs don't really have to pull as much as they would with the legs straight. Which
Is
is
that-
why for exercises, I always had feet on the ground with a tuck.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it definitely makes it harder.
So you have us do that to see the contrast, to feel the contrast, or
It's a good question. I have you do that because I usually pair it with a glute bridge. And one time I ran someone through this. It was the beginning of or the end of last year, and he kept moving his feet and kept because his hamstrings were getting tired, and then his feet were getting tired holding the hook line position.
interesting?
So yeah, so that's when I started just letting with legs straight, so you don't get tired with your feet and hamstrings.
Is the leg straight very challenging for you, Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah.
it? Okay. It doesn't look like it is, but it is. Okay.
I can make things look easy,
Okay.
but yeah, it's hard.
I had a question about the positioning kind of things as well. I found like with breathing when I'm on my back and kind of trying to get to the end of that exhale and find the abs more, I tend to kind of have like be able to feel the front of my neck more. But then when I was standing up in the squat position and doing the breathing, I was able to find abs a lot easier and I didn't feel the front of my neck as much. I was wondering what you feel like that might relate to.
Yeah. So starting on the ground is so much easier to coach it, but to effectively do it correctly, it's so much better if you're standing up because now when you're laying on a flat surface, your whole rib cage is laying on a flat surface. So it's hard for your ribs to move and it's hard for your ribs to expand. So in that position, it might be hard for someone to get that full exhale laying on a super flat surface. But it is the easiest way to teach someone how to do it. But if you are having that, we call it the drowning man. I don't know if you've ever taught someone how to do the breathing. So they exhale fully and then you tell them to keep the tension and then they go like this. Just because they have nowhere else to expand. So if you get rid of their way of expanding, then they have no option but to do that. But they're also laying on a flat surface. So when you do see that, people who struggle getting the full breath out or people who struggle getting a good inhale, put them in a seated position. So now you free up their whole entire rib cage. So they might not be ready for a squat, but you can put them like in a short seated position like I am right now. And that might be better.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. But much easier to teach in supine in 90-90. But you are going to run into issues that way. Any other questions?
Mm-mm.
I have one other one.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I primarily work with teenagers, and I feel like it's a great age to introduce some of this stuff because like just developmentally, you can kind of build habits and make an impact, but there's also sort of challenges around, they're kind of very new to it. And sometimes just have a lot of other things kind of on their mind or going on. I was wondering if there's any sort of thoughts you have on working with kind of younger populations doing these kinds of things.
Yeah, I've had a mix with kids. I've gotten like really good kids who love all the breathing stuff. That was at my old place. That's when I worked with kids. I don't work with kids anymore, but for them, how old are they?
Like 14 to 18, and some of them have like mental health kind of related things as well. So sort of whether it be trauma, anxiety, or different things like that. So some kind of coming into it with also like apprehension around gym too, like maybe meet them where they're at with things before too. Yeah.
Yeah, there I would put it more towards like abs instead of breathing. So exercises that you're already doing with them instead of it being a new exercise. So if they're already doing things like bear crawls or planks, coach reaching on there and coach exhaling on there, and they feel a lot of abs, and make sure you make that connection. Like see how breathing got you a ton of abs, and then do it with other exercises like a squat. So if they're holding the kettlebell here, have them reach forward and fully exhale, and then ask them, do you feel abs right now? And then they'll say yes. And like, see how breathing got you abs? And that's probably our biggest thing with kids is breathing got you abs. See how that breathing made that exercise feel really hard? Or having them really tuck in the squat and feeling a lot of quads. If their goal is to gain muscle, then pointing that out as well. So if you don't tuck, notice how I'm just using my back a lot. So do you want a big low back muscles or do you want big quad muscles? So things like that, finding things that are meaningful.
So maybe not kind of putting them in a supine position and like asking them to do something that's more new and unfamiliar, but more kind of adding the cues in the things that they might be more familiar with and might be more aligned with their goals already.
100%. And then that way you have a little bit of failure or room for failure. Because if you go, let's say they're doing a glute bridge and you try to get them to tuck a little bit and they fail, it's to them, it's no big deal and they didn't fail at all. So you get them used to all the cues. So when you do introduce something like 90-90, they already know how to do it. I think the big problem that people can't get someone buy into is they try to do it, but then the person doesn't feel hamstrings, they don't feel glutes, they don't feel abs, and then they're like, why are we doing this? So if you get the reps in, getting them to learn the cues and the stuff that they're already doing, when you do introduce the 90-90, you can just tell them it's another intense hamstring exercise. So getting them used to all the cues with the stuff that you're already doing really helps. And it gives you an idea of who to try it with and who not to.
Thanks, that makes sense.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Cool. And who, do you follow Justin Moore?
I don't.
Oh, okay. So he works with athletes and he shares a lot of stuff on this and way better than me. So definitely follow him. And then do you follow Michelle Bolin?
I do. She's my coach.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she works with some athletes, but Justin Moore shares more on social media.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
he's doing with them and how he explains it. So
The kids I work with are more like probably less athletic, like more kids who kind of hate gym class, and sort of we try to kind of make it fun so that they'll come. We sort of keep it very like relational based, and it can do the sort of like how do you feel kind of things, but things that are more traditionally like sports or athletics are sort of met with some resistance for sure.
Oh, that's so cool that you're doing that. That's really needed.
Oh, thanks. So
Those are the kids I like.
yeah, I like them too. Just trying to learn how to integrate these kinds of things. So I feel like they would be so helpful, but still kind of learning. So so happy to be here and taking it in to try to apply that as well.
Yeah, and kids, they catch on really fast too. And they change fast too, which helps with buy-in. Just a little bit goes a long way with them. Yeah, look at the stuff that you're already doing and just see where you can implement some of these cues. The main three: exhale, reaching, and tucking. And just get familiar with those things. And then you can start exploring a little different exercises. But yeah, really good question. Any other question? No?
Mm.
Cool.
Thank you for your makeup class.
Yeah. I still can't log on. I found another way to log in.
Oh,
Wow.
I go through Gmail, because it can show you, like, just log in through Gmail, but I can't put in my password. But I don't know. I give up. Computers. Matt, how was it for you for your first one?
That was awesome. I feel great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you did. Yeah, it looked really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, if you don't have any questions, I guess that's it.
Thank you very much.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Appreciate it, Lucy. Thanks.
See you all Sunday.
Yeah.
Go right.
Bye.